from the bottom, ain't no problems, we gon' make a way. Got no coach on the field, but we making plays. Hey, look, don't worry, we gon' be okay. Hey, look, why? Cause we gon' make them pay. We from.
So let's just jump right into it. We got Appalachian State traveling to UL Lafayette. This could potentially be a Sun Belt Conference Championship preview, depending on how these teams finishes. But there are some foes on both sides that may have something to say. I know for the West side, at UTSA right now, they may have some things to say about how they feel about this one, but it is what it is. Only time will tell. So let's jump right into it. UL Lafayette actually opened up in favor at -1. Right now, that line is at -5 in favor of App State. So we definitely need to cover and make sure there's not injuries going on. You know, these smaller schools, they like to tend to withhold information until game day, right at kickoff, and then we have the announcer saying, "Oh, so and so's missing, so and so's out with COVID." So on and so on. So it's very important to see what's going on with the Raging Cajuns at this moment. But App State, the Mountaineers, they're 4-1 on the year, 3-2 against the spread, while the Louisiana Lafayette Raging Cajuns, they are also 4-1 on the year, but only 1-4 against the spread for the year. For App State right now, Harrington, he is questionable for this game this week. It's undisclosed, and Peoples, he missed last game and is probable for this game as well. So we definitely need to see what's going on. And Noel, the running back, he is questionable for this game as well with something with his toe. Now for Louisiana Lafayette, Rubio, offensive lineman, he is questionable for this game. They did lose a defensive lineman, Landry. He's out for the season. Their kicker is out for the season as well. Harrington, the offensive line, he's been out for 4 to 6 weeks. My receiver, Bonnie, he is questionable for this game, as well as Bites. He is questionable for this game as well as wide receiver. Last game for Appalachian State, they beat Georgia State 45-16, while UL Lafayette, they beat South Alabama 20-18. Both these teams are kind of on some win streaks right now, so let's get to the actual factuals. App State 6-12 against the spread in the last 18 games. The over's gone over 5 out of the last 7. They're 6-1 straight up in the last 7 games and 8-1 straight up in the last 9 games when playing against the Raging Cajuns. 11-3 straight up on the road in the last 14 games and 4-1 straight up in the last 5 games this season. The Raging Cajuns, they are 1-5 against the spread in the last 6 games. The unders hit 4 out of the last 5. But they are 11-1 straight up in the last 12 games. The unders also hit 4 out of the last 5 when playing against App State. They're 1-4 against the spread in the last 5 games this season and 7-0 straight up in the last 7 games when playing against a Sun Belt Conference opponent. Louisiana Lafayette hosting Appalachian State. Marley, how do you feel about this one?
We briefly talked about this game before we came on. I think it's a real tight game. I like App State when I initially looked at it without diving into the numbers. The advantage I think they have is at the quarterback position. I'm not, based off the numbers, I'm not a big believer in Levi Lewis. Although he hasn't played bad in terms of turning the ball over. He's thrown 7 touchdowns, 1 interception, but his QBR is only 55.4. And last week he went 9 for 20 with only like 40, maybe 50 yards passing, which in my opinion makes them very, very one-dimensional. They're averaging 166 yards rushing a game. Their schedule is similar to Appalachian State, maybe Appalachian a little bit tougher. They both got 1 loss, 1 to Miami, 1 to Texas. I think App State wins the game, but I actually think the Raging Cajuns are going to cover this at home. This is a revenge game for App State. They lost that 1-8 record you talked about. The one win the Raging Cajuns have against this team is from last year. That's their first win in program history against App State. So this is a revenge game for App State. So I think they'll be motivated. I'm going to take the Raging Cajuns plus the 5 points as an official play, but I think App State actually wins this game. I think it'll be tight, though. I think App State's the slightly better team. They're going to get slightly better, if not a lot better quarterback play out of Bryce. But I'm gonna take the 5 with the Raging Cajuns. Bryce, man, he can play. He's a pretty good quarterback. 8 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 67.9 QBR. But versus his conference, his QBR jumps up to 71.4. I really like App State, but I don't think they cover this game. I think the Raging Cajuns put up enough to keep it close with the home field advantage on a Tuesday night off day. Stadium will be rocking, nothing else to do. So I like the Cajuns plus the 5 points.
All right, Flat Top, what about yourself?
As far as I'm concerned, Marley gave pretty spot on commentary. I think it's going to come down to quarterback play. They Lafayette struggled last week from the quarterback, like he was saying, 9 for 20. I think there's going to be a lot of running in this game. It's going to come down to a lot of time management. So for that reason alone, I think it's also going to be pretty tight, just because this is a revenge game for App State, trying to avenge that one loss, last season. I think they're going to put the ball on the ground a lot this game, more than usual. So for that reason, I am sticking with the under full game, the 56. I just think they're going to run predominantly, and it's not going to really get into a shootout. It'll still be tight, but I'm seeing probably last week, that 2018, maybe a 24-20. I just don't see it being 30 points on each side of the ball. So under 56 is my official play for this one.
Okay, so Flat Top likes the under for this game. As for myself, with the injuries right now to the running back position, man, App State, they rely heavily on that complemented backfield. With Harrington, with Peoples, backup Noel, I think he's just not coming off an injury. It's going to be very important to see. Now, these guys didn't have a game this past weekend, so they've actually been off for quite some time now. So we do also got to keep in mind, who's going to be a little bit rusty, who's going to be able to knock that rust off. Now, I do know that, going into Louisiana around this time on a weekday can be very dangerous, nationally televised game. And this is an upset game, a revenge game for App State. But, you're going on the road. I've actually seen this team on the road a couple of times struggle, but in the second half, they kind of run away with it. With that running back situation going on right now with App State, I got to ride with the home team right now. And I'm confident that I like the home team to win outright money line. This UL Lafayette team has been around. They have been a cohesive unit now for the last couple of years. Lewis, the quarterback, he's a vet now, and he's been there for running the show for the last couple of years as well. So I feel really confident about this. I think the defenses both match up well. Though they lost to they barely beat a South Alabama team, but that South Alabama team that program has been growing consistently year after year after year. But with that being said, I like UNL Lafayette with the money line right here. What is it, plus 155 or something like that? Don't know, but
I got them up. Let me see. It is plus 175.
Oh, even better. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the Raging Cajuns to win this game at home. Keep it simple. And if they can stop the running game, and if they're having those injuries right now at the running back side of the ball with App State, I like Lafayette to take this game. All right, let's get to our next game.
Check it out. Look, we from the bottom, ain't no problems, we gon' make a way. Got no coach on the field, but we making plays. Hey, look, don't worry, we gon' be okay. Hey, look, why? Cause we gon' make them pay. We from